Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jamesville-DeWitt Central High School here in DeWitt, New York. Thank you so very much for joining us live on YouTube. Basketball season is back, and how fitting is it that we start with a rematch of the biggest game of 2020. Sam Gelfand here alongside my broadcast partner Tyler Aitken. How are you doing? Are you excited not just for basketball, but to see JD and CBA square off once again?
Sam, I'm doing great today. I'm very excited to see this matchup. I think JD lost 63-61 in the sectional finals last year. It's going to be really interesting to see how these teams grew over the past 11 months.
Of course, this should be a phenomenal game. The Christian Brothers Academy brothers already have 4 games under their belt, and they are 4-0 in that time. The Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams, this is their first game of the season. They did, however, have a scrimmage against West Hill on Thursday, which they did win 65-45, unofficial of course, but now it's time for the real show to begin. Let's take a look at today's starting lineups real quick. For the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams, well, it looks like they're waiting for me to say the lineups here in the arena, so we'll get to that afterwards. All right, no national anthem. We're going straight into it. As you just heard, starting for the Red Rams, Cerrone, Schnorr, King, Withers, and Schumpert. Starting for the brothers, Haas, Williams, Schaefer, Anderson, and Harris. JD gets the rebound, or the tip-off, excuse me, and we are all underway. Hey, it looks like we forgot to reset the scores from the first JV game, as Preston Schumpert Starts to control, gives it to Withers. Now it's Cerrone from downtown. And that's not the greatest of starts for JD.
They're starting out in their man defense like they always play. They're not really a team that switches into zone all that often.
Reset timeouts too. Now that's Dan Anderson. He's going to be the playmaker and the difference maker in this contest. Rebound grabbed by Preston Shumpert. Shumpert takes it across half court. Swings it out to Withers. And Withers, as we are going to see all season, is lights out beyond the arc.
He's an absolute sharpshooter. They're going to look to feed him all game if he gets those opportunities.
There's a reason why they call him the Sheriff. Or at the very least, we call him the Sheriff.
Absolutely. Great defense there by Cerrone.
James Cerrone may have a breakout season this year. After all, last year he only averaged 3 points per game, and yet in that scrimmage against West Hill put up 19 points.
He has a very high basketball IQ. His dad is a coach at OCC and coached in the high school system for very many years, so he's been around the game forever. He knows the game well and he hustles.
The shot missed by Cam Harris. And Preston Shumpert playing some board games. You're going to be seeing him do that all day. Now Withers with another 3 attempt, 2 for 2, lightning strikes twice. We're going to be looking if it's going to hit a third, fourth, or fifth time.
If they get him open, he's going to take that shot, and most of the times he's going to make it.
John Marshall Withers with a .696 field goal percentage last season. Now Williams attempts the handoff to Anderson. Closely guarded by Withers. Out to Harris. Harris now back to Williams. It's Haas who tries to find a man inside. Preston Shumpert says, "Excuse me, but I'll be taking that." Takes it himself across half court, finds a lane, puts up the layup. It rolls off.
Great defense by Marshall there. He's been all over.
And now Withers. Double teamed, no one covering Shumpert. That is mistake number 1, and he puts up 3 for it.
It's been bang, bang, bang from deep. CBA is going to need to find a way to challenge these shooters because if JD gets an open shot, they're going to convert it.
And now the first timeout has been taken. And it is an early 9-0 lead for the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams.
JD doesn't have much size, so I don't know why CBA is playing so defensively inside. They really need to protect against that outside shot because until JD slashes, they're going to keep shooting.
It's entirely possible they may have designed this scheme around Preston Shumpert. And of course, we can't forget that Cerrone has plenty of speed on his side as well.
Absolutely.
Now Dan Anderson will take it across. Anderson led the team in almost all statistical categories last year, an all-state 8th team pick. Jumper from Haas hits the glass, and now it's Withers. Withers guarded by Anderson shows you just how much faith they have in him. King sent to Shumpert, and it's a beauty.
When are they going to learn? They're going to need to find a guy to step up and challenge a shot on defense.
Well, we were talking about how Anderson was an all-New York State 8th team selection. Preston Shumpert an all-state honorable mention. He's no slouch either. $12-0. The Red Rams are hoping to run away with it. At least they have so far in this first quarter. 2 shots coming up for Anderson. He's made 7 free throws in this 2021 season, though he misses his first. And the second eventually finds its way home. It is 12-1. Cerrone with a nice little handoff. Now it's Withers round the horn to Shumpert. Doesn't matter if you got someone guarding him. He's going to find the net.
So even when Sam Haas gets a hand in his face, JD is shooting lights out. CBA is not going to slow them down. JD is going to need to slow themselves down.
The Red Rams doing everything right so far as Cario Williams will give it to Cam Harris. Hand off to Anderson. Anderson held by Cerrone, tries to muscle his way into the key, and he's going to get 2 shots for it.
They really like to run the offense through Dan Anderson there. Just give him the ball, let him penetrate, and see what happens. It's the second straight time he's gotten to the line.
Anderson last year averaging 17.4 points per game, and through the 4 regular season games of 2021, 17.3 points per game. As he sinks his first of 2, it's 15-2. So at least he's consistent. Substitution, Cam Harris coming off, and Cody Miller coming in. Couple more for Anderson.
And what you're seeing here is called the flex offense. That's what JD runs consistently, and it helps them keep movement throughout the game.
All 3 CBA points have come off of Anderson free throws so far. Until, that is, Mike Schaefer hits a 3-pointer. That is his 6th of the season. It is now 15-6 with 3:44 remaining in the first quarter.
Although it didn't end up in points, that was a great screen by Brian King, and he was able to get an open look at the basket, but James traveled before he was able to convert.
And if you're just joining us, let's not forget what's at stake here. Not just a victory, but pride. After all, 2020 on March 7th to be specific, as Haas misses the 3-pointer. The CBA brothers defeated the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams in the Section 3 Class A Championship by 2 points. This is the Red Rams' opportunity for redemption. Anderson fakes out Cerrone, weaves through. What a beautiful block by Gunther Schnorr.
One thing Coach Ike really emphasizes for JD is that help defense. So Gunther able to step over and get on that help line. That was a fantastic block.
And coming on now is Johnny Kaib, perhaps just the best natural athlete at this entire school. Kaib, actually, this is his first minute since 2018 on the basketball court, yet at the same time, he's going to Yale for lacrosse. He's a 4-star recruit. He was the Salt City Athletic Conference Soccer Player of the Year. And that is a beautiful 3-point shot from Mike Schaefer. He's 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. That's 6 points already.
Withers, Schumpert, and Schaefer all hitting their threes today.
Neither of these teams particularly tall, and we may see some continued action, although that is just a long 2 for Withers, but about as long of a 2 as you can possibly find.
And he was fading away. There might have been some contact there. That was a great stroke from him.
The Sheriff bringing it home. Now it's Dan Anderson, who can't do it through trouble. Cerrone brings it back, Withers, and now it's Kaib. Kaib sends it back out to a wide-open Schumpert, and he drops the mic.
Another great shot by Schumpert, but even better there might have been the pass by John Kaib. Well-looking vision right there from under the basket.
And, you know, we were talking about his soccer skill. That kind of speaks to it. He's a defender, and his job is to find who's open.
Exactly.
Now Cario Williams passes it in, swiped by Marshall Withers. I believe that is asset forfeiture.
Absolutely.
Under the penal code. Air ball taken away by Cario Williams. Cody Miller with a literal handoff to Dan Anderson, who's going to slow it down. Hey, this fast pace hasn't really been benefiting them, though he does not make his 3-pointer. Reaching in on Cerrone.
He knows better than that. Just like I was talking about earlier, Coach Ike really emphasizes the help line. If he lets a guy get past him, you don't want to foul him. You want to let your other defenders help out and step in the lane there.
It'll be a CBA ball. Cario Williams bringing it in. The senior stands 5'11", 155 pounds. The average height on CBA actually is 6 feet even. JD just a little bit taller. Williams tried to pass, but it pretty much goes to himself, though he can't prevent it from going out of bounds. Substitutions for JD, and now Daniel Annan will see his first minutes on varsity.
And they're going right back into that flex offense. They call it JD. They don't want to rush it here. They want to take their time and try to get some scrambling from the CBA defense.
Now Withers finds a wide open lane, takes it to the net, but he just lacks the finish. Anderson now takes it across half court. He'll hit Harrigan. Harrigan tries to get underneath the net, but he's facing Schumpert and Withers. That wasn't happening. Now Gunther Schnorr is called for a travel, it looks like, as he was under a little bit of contact. No, actually, they say it was the foul was the contact from Dan Anderson. You know, that's one of the drawbacks of being what we might call an elite player is usually you play a little more physically to get to that point. And sometimes against other opponents, it backfires on you. Anderson now, with 10 seconds, hits another.
What a great finish over Preston Schumpert there. They're going to leave Preston wide open for an and one. Look at that on the fast break. Nobody was even watching him. Slipped right by the defense.
11 points for Preston Schumpert with an opportunity to make it 12. Four seconds left in the first quarter. Schumpert had a .792 free throw percentage last year. And he'll hit the and one. 12 points for him, makes it 23-11. Can CBA get that last shot off? No. And that is the end of the first quarter. The Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams leading 23-11 over the Christian Brother Academy Brothers. Now, we do hope you'll excuse us for just a moment because we're supposed to have a second camera and we need to get that running by restarting our streaming software. So we'll be right back while we have this break between quarters. We will take the stream off the air and then right back on in 1 minute, and we will see you there. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken for JDTV. Thank you so very much for joining us. All right, welcome back, everybody. Looks like we're just going to have one camera. That's a shame, but what's more of a shame is that the CBA brothers have not come out swinging. It's 25-11 as we start the second quarter.
And what you just saw was another great basket by Preston Schumpert. He has been unguardable today.
Schumpert really looking to break away from his brother's shadow and have something of his own, as Anderson is up to 7 points. Is that 14 or 15 points for Schumpert now?
It was a 2. I thought.
Oh, it was a 2.
Yeah.
Withers eventually finds his way to Schumpert. He's double teamed. The fadeaway. It's a little short. Now it's Anderson. Over to Schaefer from the wing, brings it down. Mike Schaefer has now tied his career high of 9 points all of them coming off of three-pointers.
Each team has their sharpshooter. Marshall Withers and Preston Shumpert from Jamesville-DeWitt have been shooting very well, but CBA, they've got some shooters too, so watch out for Schaefer.
Now, we're used to seeing Coach Jeff Ike being fired up for JD, but Buddy Leklinski of CBA is not looking happy with the way his team has been playing.
I don't think you can be when you open up 4-0 and you're playing a team that you beat last year. JD lost 4 starters. CBA has no business losing this game right now.
Of course, Leklinski knows success like few others here in Section 3, one of only 7 500-win coaches in the history of Section 3. Yeah, you can bring it up if you want. And here's a look at the last games that these two teams have been playing. On the 18th, CBA defeated Bishop Ludden 64-53, as there's another basket from Shumpert.
Someone's going to need to step up and slow him down.
And of course, the last game before this JD played was the loss against CBA on March 7th, 2020. Shumpert up to 16 points, his career high is 18. And we're only just barely scraping the surface of the second quarter. Pass intercepted by Anderson. Quick dribble underneath the net, and Cody Miller will put up 2. Timeout called by JD.
Just like you were saying earlier, you're used to seeing Coach Ike get a little fired up. He's certainly fired up now. That was a sloppy pass from Jamesville-DeWitt, and it resulted in a wide-open layup. They had a hot start, but they can't let off the gas. They have to keep pushing. Game is not even close to being over.
It is 27-18. It's a comfortable 9-point lead, but just about anything can change, especially against a team the caliber of CBA. 4-0 undefeated right now to start off 2021. And once again, we thank you so very much for joining us here live on YouTube with JDTV. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken on the call in this Section 3 Class A basketball matchup. Man, it's just so great to see basketball back.
It's phenomenal. I think all the players are excited, the coaches are excited, obviously the fans are excited, so it's a great environment here in the gym.
It's amazing how much intensity there is here despite the lack of fans. And of course, we do appreciate that you're letting us bring the game to you. It is much safer for everyone involved. Pass to Withers to start things off, past half court. Withers guarded by Anderson. Cerrone calling for it, but instead he goes to Schnorr. Now passed over to Shumpert. Shumpert back to Schnorr. Schnorr double teamed out to Cerrone. Cerrone to Shumpert. They gave him room, but he did not capitalize. Withers will snag it. He'll try his hand. It rattles out. That's the most painful type of shot.
Yeah, they don't mind that shot, but JD definitely has to move the ball around more. They're trying to start their offense, and they're rushing a little bit. They need to stay with what they know and keep moving the ball.
Braden Burns with the pass over to Amari Pitts, who cannot capitalize. Now it's Cerrone, all the way down to Shumpert. Going to try for the lane underneath the basket. A little spin move, but he's called for a travel. And we'll see a line change for CBA, 3 substitutions. And speaking of hockey, you know, part of what makes this rivalry so interesting is that in both ice hockey and swimming and diving, CBA and Jamesville-DeWitt pool their resources to have combined teams, and yet in sports like basketball, they are bitter rivals.
They kind of have a frenemy dynamic going on, so it'll be interesting to see. Lots of these players know each other.
Dan Anderson with a little start-stop motion. Swings it out beyond the wing. And Braden Burns will put it through for 3. Withers with a fake pass. Tried to weave through. Instead, Cerrone will break it. Anderson down to Haas. Haas. Literally nothing but net.
JD went on their 3-point run at the beginning of the game, and CBA just did the same thing. It's only a 3-point game now.
27-24 with 4 minutes left in the second quarter, or the first half, depending on how you want to look at it. Schumpert misses, and Anderson will eventually win that battle. Anderson loses control. Something of a block in the back from Schnorr.
Schnorr's second block of the game. He's really a key cog on their defense here.
Schnorr is another player who we're really going to be looking out for all season. Last year, he had some absolute flashes of brilliance, and yet he found himself streaky. And Anderson finds the basket yet again. He is up to 10 points.
And after that start by JD, who would have expected to see a tie game already? Before halftime, team's already tied.
Anderson now takes it down. Tied up at the basket, and Braden Burns battles through.
Only a sophomore, already with 5 points. He's played very well in the offensive end today.
6'2", 195, using his size to his advantage as Withers will give it to Schumpert. He's got to take this moment to recombobulate. Leklinski's jackets come off. He's fired up. Schumpert is cooling off.
CBA has numbers.
Anderson, the layup on the go, does not work as intended. Instead, Withers takes it across the court, bounce pass to Schnorr. The fadeaway jumper is sunk. It is tied at 29.
Great pass by Marshall Withers there. You see the cousin-to-cousin connection, Marshall Withers and Gunther Schnorr. Being cousins growing up in the same school system, they definitely have chemistry that you can see on the court.
Now, we were saying as the timeout looks to be called by a full timeout called by CBA, you know, Gunther Schnorr last year, he put up a 22-point game on January 14th. That's a larger high than even Preston Schumpert had. But at the same time, he would come back and then, you know, score 2 points in a game, 4 points in a game. He showed absolute flashes of brilliance last year, and we really want to see him break out.
When he gets hot, he gets hot. I think one thing you saw last year was there wasn't much opportunity for them to run their offense through him. JD ran their offense completely through Peyton Schumpert last year. So now, with 4 starters and several other key bench pieces leaving, Gunther Schnorr will definitely have more opportunities to take a bigger leadership role in that offense.
Of course, these are 2 of the best teams in upstate New York. In 2020, CBA was ranked 17th in the state, JD 25th. JD finished the season 18-5, CBA 18-6. Both finished first in their respective conferences. We are all tied up at 29 with 2:43 on the clock.
One thing you'll notice again and again, JD really lacks a big man that they feel comfortable starting. We don't even have Preston Schumpert in the game, so we'll look for CBA to maybe attack on the inside right now.
The closest JD has is Narell Neal, who's 6'4", but he doesn't get a lot of playing time. The loss of Matt Bradford, Matt Saplicki, and of course Peyton Schumpert from last year. Even Trey Autry was 6'2", lost a lot of height, whether to graduation or in the case of Peyton and Autry, to going to prep school. Shot clock violation, though, yes.
I believe they counted that.
They counted it. It's 31-29. Anderson got it off just in time. He's up to 12 points in just this first half. Overshot from Schnorr.
JD just really seems to be forcing baskets that they don't want to take right now. Lots of deep contested threes, contested lanes in the basket. They need to work for an open shot. They're not using all 35 seconds of the shot clock, so they can afford to work the ball around a little bit more.
Leklinski has been noted for his use of man-to-man defense in the past, and it is working to great success against JD right now. As they're about evenly matched in height, it's just hard to be able to find room to get those three-pointers off.
Exactly. When they had them open at the beginning of the game, it was working, but oh my goodness.
And there's 2 points for Sam Haas. Or was that 3?
That was 3.
That was 3. So 6 points for Haas today as Cerrone tries to break to his left, hands it to Schumpert. Schumpert trying to weave around. Now it's Withers. Past two people, can't guess past the third. Cerrone tries to take it away, but a foul is called. Believe that's a charge on Cerrone. Not the call I was expecting to see there.
It looked like it might have been they might have called that on the rebound, might have grabbed an arm of a CBA player going for the ball there.
So it's a CBA ball with just over a minute left in the first half. Dan Anderson. Bounce pass on the ground to Williams. Williams back to Anderson. Now it's Schaefer. Schaefer just barely hits Williams. Turning around, he doesn't have enough time to get the vision for the accuracy he needs, so instead Gunther Schnorr takes it across the court himself. It's a non. Now it's over to Matt Keeler. Off the glass, beautiful touch, pancakes on the griddle.
Just like that, they need to work to get an open shot. It's become more difficult later in the game, but they need to find open shots.
25 seconds remaining. The lead will not increase for CBA, at least not yet. It's 34-32. Pass to Williams, now to Anderson. He's going to try to run this out. He realizes he's got 12 seconds. He wants that final shot. Now, if you're Withers, do you challenge him?
I think you stay back, and that looks like it worked. That Dan Anon ready to switch.
No shot is gotten off as the first half comes to a close. It is anybody's game, just like the sectional championships last year, 34-32. The CBA brothers barely hanging on to this lead over the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams.
And they're definitely happy to be in this position because after that first quarter, it did not look like it was going to be this close. But they played good defense. They got their shots open, and they didn't rush. They just kind of worked their way back into their game in a natural flow. And it's been very impressive to watch CBA operate, especially in the second quarter.
So we'll see how they come back and respond in the second half. We will be back in 10 minutes with the start of the second half. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken here for JDTV. Thank you very much for joining us as we will take a 10-minute break. Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back to the Jamesville-DeWitt and CBA Varsity basketball game. We are back in the third quarter of action. It is tied 34-34, 1 minute into the third quarter. Dan Anderson misses where James Cerrone's about to bring the ball up. Over to Gunther Schnorr, weaving in and out of the defense. Back to James. Gets it out to Marshall.
Yeah, gotta fix the score and stuff, but we're back up. Okay, I just saved us at the buzzer, and speaking of saved at the buzzer, a beautiful three with just a little bit of time to go from Brian King, who started the game. That's his first points of the game. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that we're having trouble getting both cameras connected, and every time you try to fix one, well, both of them are shutting down. So we're powering through the best we can, as both JD and CBA have been in this extremely close battle so far.
That was a great look from Sam Haas. He wants to convert the and one there, but he'll be happy to go to the line.
In the meantime, with that first hey, the second camera's there. There we go. Okay, that's beautiful.
Converts the first.
One made by Haas. But he does not make the other. Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. As the JD TV has brought out our A-team here to bring you this contest, and we're so excited to be bringing it to you. Schumpert, with the first basket of the half, tied his career high at 18 points, which statistically means he should hit, what's 18 times 2? What's 18 times 2?
36.
He's on track for somewhere around there.
That would be very nice.
That would be great. Meanwhile, Haas cannot hit the three-pointer.
Ryan King clapping right in the face of CBA right there. They were getting a little physical, so we'll see what happens. They're obviously a very heated rivalry.
And it speaks to it because I was told by Coach Ike that both Gunther Schnorr and Brian King were, in his words, a little shaken up today. Not at 100% physically, and yet they insist on being here and starting this game.
And they both haven't been shy about playing physical, even through that shaken up, whatever their injuries may be. Looks like Brian King does have some sort of brace on his right ankle.
Now Dan Anderson takes it to the opposite side of the court. But it is Cam Harris with his first 2 points of the day.
Great court vision by Dan, getting that bounce pass. He had a wide open layup.
Now Schumpert currently controls. A little crossover dribble. Back to Cerrone. Cerrone weaves through. He gets an elbow to the face for his trouble. Replay. We'll take another look at it. Look at that contact. Cerrone powering through, and Withers from the wing does what he does best.
And JD will take a timeout, but taking that three-point lead, what a beautiful shot by Withers.
40-37 as Marshall Withers lives up to the Sheriff Sharpshooter moniker. You know, really, I gave him the nickname because the full name of John Marshall Withers just sounded like an old Wild West sheriff, but he's really grown into it through his own style of play.
Such a smooth shooting stroke. It's consistent every time. He doesn't rush. He doesn't mess up at all. He's going to have great form every time he shoots the ball.
He also grew an inch since 2020.
That definitely helps.
Up to 6 feet from 5'11". Also great to hear the cheerleaders who have been able to join us here. Now Anderson with the pass to Harris. Anderson really, what a point guard he is. Goes without saying if you're an all-state selection.
As a sophomore too last year, so he has a lot of room to continue to grow.
That's almost scary, his potential. Cam Harris prevents the stutter step over to Anderson, round the horn. 3 people in the paint, he ain't getting past that. Williams, though, with a little spin move, he finds a way. And so does James Cerrone.
And he was left wide open. All he needed to do was sneak around that defense like a fox and just slither in to get that bucket.
Competition between teammates on getting that rebound, and a timeout is taken by Coach Ike.
It's 2 timeouts pretty early in the third quarter by Ike. It's going to be interesting to see how that comes into effect later in the game. If it's a close finish, he'll maybe be wanting those back.
Well, you have to think from Coach Ike's perspective, this is a pretty fresh team. Not a lot of these players shared playing time last season. There's a lot of JV call-ups, and they don't quite have that chemistry that a team like last year's usually has.
Jamesville-DeWitt lost 4 starters. They lost several bench players, so Preston is the only returning starter. Marshall and Gunther got a decent amount of playing time. James and Brian King a little bit, but
and Narelle Neal got
really
about 4 games
team.
as well. Or Narelle Neal got 9 games as well, I believe, out of the 20-something that they
That's
played.
correct. We have not seen him in the game yet, but
Neal, the tallest player on the team right now, tied with Shumpert, but he's just, it's hard to have that coordination when you're at that height, and it's just something he hasn't really been able to put together yet.
and he didn't start playing with the school team until he was a sophomore, so he's pretty new to this.
Withers attempted to bring it closer to the hoop, but really he excels from further away. Close defense on Sicario Williams. Williams gets the ball back from Harris, hands it to Anderson, and you notice how the tempo changes immediately as soon as Anderson gets the ball. Anderson round to Schaefer. Schaefer to Haas. Back to Schaefer to Anderson.
And you'll notice Jamesville-DeWitt in that 2-3 zone here, trying to slow down any penetration from CBA.
That bounce pass went directly through the legs of Withers. .320 on the clock, 42-39 is the score. This might be another one that comes down to the wire, just like last year.
Back into man-to-man on the inbounds pass.
Haas to Anderson. Over to Williams. Williams to Anderson. Tries to bump his way past Cerrone. Instead, Williams on the other side, driving towards the net. He gets stopped. And it's Johnny Kibe. Off the foot of Cerrone, there's a tie-up. Jump ball ruled. And Cerrone looks like he's a little bit shaken up.
He fumbled that catch, but he dove right on the ground to get it. A great hustle play by him, and he's still going to try to be shaking that off for the next few minutes.
That's both a mental and physical shake-off he's got to perform. It's great to see him going right at it, though. When you're a coach, that's exactly the kind of hustle that you're looking for.
It's never fun to make a mistake, but to dive right on top of the ball after you drop it is always a great sign that you're playing hard.
And it was a good pass. Though the whistle's blown before Schnorr can do anything about it. He's going to get 2 shots.
And that wasn't that hard of a foul. You really want Gunther to try to convert that into an and one there. That's definitely what Ike was commenting about from the sideline.
And he sure comments a lot.
That he does.
And he's going to have more after Schnorr misses his first free throw. Which is interesting because last year he led the team in free throw percentage with an 89.5. Well, he's 1 for 2. It looks like CBA wants Anderson to play every single minute of this game. And you cannot blame them as Haas gets a layup in.
Great spin move down low by him. He has a phenomenal footwork under the basket.
Haas last year an all-Onondaga High School League first-team selection. And it's taken away by Williams. But you gotta give it to Schnorr for that heads-up defense preventing any further damage.
That was a great hustle play. He didn't foul. He just poked the ball out of bounds. Absolutely phenomenal hustle.
Gunther Schnorr has been proving his worth and more on the defensive side of the ball.
A few steals, a few blocks. He's definitely making a big impact, and what a call right there. Offensive foul.
Leklinski can't believe it. You see him pleading his case.
I think they're going to call that a moving screen or an illegal screen of some sort, so.
We say it every year. How many times do you see a coach argue with a referee and they actually change their mind?
Yet to see it once in my life.
I think I've seen it twice. Then again, I've been around for a lot longer. Poked out of Anand's hands. Scrambling
Great
for it is
hustle by Dan
Anderson.
Anderson.
Schnorr, though, with recovery, sees an open opportunity, gives it to Cerrone, muscles his way in. Rebound by Schnorr. Now Schumpert will take it to the lane himself and put it up with a little finger roll. What a beauty.
Another great slither into the hoop for Preston Schumpert to finish that. But
Preston Schumpert with a new career high 20 points on the day.
And we are not even in the fourth quarter yet.
Schumpert, we already knew before this season, well, wow, what a block by Kaib. CBA not happy there was no call, but at least they can get a little something back with that three-pointer from Cody Miller.
Now James Cerrone needs to be careful with how he handles the ball here. JD has almost lost the ball twice on 2 straight possessions, just dribbling the ball and losing it.
Schnorr has so much time to set up for a three. Schumpert there to get the rebound. Can't get it when he gets closer to the basket. Haas throws some bows, gives it to Anderson. Pass down to Miller. Haas going to take his time. He averaged 11 points per game this season. He has 9 so far. 45 seconds left in the third quarter. This game flying by. The first half only took 25 minutes as Anderson finds a layup. He's up to 14 points.
Just speeds past his defenders, and nobody was there to help. Dan Anand did not come over to try to stop that basket as soon as he should have.
This game flying by a frantic pace as Anand will take a three. Let's consider that a pass to Schnorr, though it's taken away by CBA. 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Anderson, once again, hoping for that last shot. Schumpert can't poke it away. It will go back JD's way, looks like, with 2.5 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
They called a carry there on Dan Anderson. You do not see that call very often.
Long pass to Withers. No one better to get that shot off. And hey, he hit iron.
That was a great shot on the run off 1 foot. They're happy with that look.
It is 46-45 as we go into the fourth and final quarter. This game is going by so fast it almost feels like a shame because this basketball is so high quality. I want more.
Going into this final quarter of play, JD really needs to clean up their play. They've been very sloppy on offense. They've had several turnovers. They've had lost balls. They've had blocked shots of theirs that have been blocked. They really need to clean up their play here, and that's definitely what Ike's telling them right now.
And by the way, we have 200 concurrent viewers right now, and we thank each and every one of you for joining us here at JDTV on YouTube. Sam Gelfand and Tyler Aitken on the call. That is doubling our record from swim season. And what an exciting game this has been. The Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams hoping not only for their first win of the season, as it is their first game of the season, but hoping for redemption after losing to CBA in the Section 3 Class A Finals by 2 points. We've gotten like a total of 6 seconds out of that second camera today. It worked all through JV.
Great physical defense here by Jamesville-DeWitt.
They're moving a little closer to man as Anderson swings it out. The three-pointer is not successful. Despite Jack Harrigan's best efforts, Withers will retain possession. Layup from Koberger, no good. That's his first minutes of the game. Schnorr will snag it.
Great hustle on the offensive rebound there by James Cerrone.
Cerrone really establishing himself in this game as a player and a presence probably for the rest of this season. Anderson with the pass out to Miller, and Miller with yet another three-pointer. That's his second of the day. He has 8 points. Anand with a no-look pass. Back to Anand. Now it's Cerrone. Saw most of the defense crowded to the far side of the court, but he couldn't penetrate. However, guess who does? It's Gunther Schnorr.
It was a great pass by junior Brendan Koberger there, and great finish by Gunther Schnorr.
He really has shown his worth on defense, even if his scoring can be a little bit streaky. He only has 4 points today, but he has been so instrumental in preventing this game from getting out of hand as Miller tries to take it to the net.
Good defense there, way to challenge the shot, jumping vertically and not getting the blocking call called on him.
Now it's Withers hanging out beyond the arc, decides to get a little bit closer off the glass, and it rattles off. Fighting for the rebound, that was a kick. And it goes JD's way.
Surprised there wasn't an over-the-back foul called on JD there, but they'll be happy with that. They're going to keep the ball as it goes off of the foot of a CBA player.
And of course now, once Johnny Kibe is out of the game, that's when we start kicking things around. Probably because he can do it better than any of us. Schnorr will be responsible for inbounding. Lob pass to Schumpert. Muscles his way in. It's a toss-up. Anderson will finally bring it down. Anderson thinking about a three-pointer as he's closely guarded by Withers. Instead, off to the wing and converted
And JD is
by Schaefer.
JD's in a 3-2 zone defense, which leaves the corners wide open to threes like that. And CBA is hitting them. They might need to switch out of that defense.
Mike Schaefer now with a career-high 12 points. Guess who has the ball? It's Anderson. Surprise, surprise.
And you'll see JD switching back into that man-to-man defense now. Probably a smart decision.
Might be a little bit late to start plugging it now, but if you have thoughts or comments about this game, we are looking at our comment section here on YouTube. Don't forget to let us know. We like what you say, might read it out on the air as Schumpert gives it to Withers. Withers, laser accurate. Lined up his sights right through the scope, a sniper shot from beyond the arc.
The Sheriff using his pistols, getting a great three right there.
He has 14 points. His career high is 17. Everyone is pushing towards their career highs today.
Good rebound by Schnorr. Only a 1-point game here. JD's only down 1 with the ball.
51-50 with 4.5 minutes left in the game. That's plenty of time. You know, usually you don't root for it, but I'm hoping this goes to overtime. Just because I want to see more of this.
Two great teams. They match up very well. It's gone back and forth all game. You don't want to stop watching.
No, this is what high school basketball is all about. Anderson attempted to take it away from Withers, but he got the upper hand quite literally. Withers weaving through. On the run, it's not going to be an and one.
Definitely smart of him there. He drove in, and he intentionally drew contact with the defender there. The rules really favor the offense when you're trying to be able to draw fouls there.
So 2 shots for Withers. Misses his first. He was 27 for 32 in free throws in 2020. One for 2 today.
And that ties up the game.
We are all tied up at 51 as Anderson takes it cross half court. Cario Williams back to Anderson. Williams, Anderson, Williams.
You hear lots of clapping from that JD bench there, trying to hype up their defense.
They've been playing successful man-to-man all day as Anderson gets past Withers, over to Williams. Contact could have gone anybody's way. Let's see who. You know, someone in the comment named Wheat Thins, actually, talking about how Cerrone has really asserted himself on the court, and you can tell he is the son of a coach just by the generalship that he has been displaying throughout this game. Williams misses his first free throw.
And Cerrone's coming back in now. There's people that score more points. There's people that fill up the stat sheet more. But there's something to be said about hustle, playing good defense, directing the offense. Just as valuable as any stat that you're going to see. As you'll see from foul there called on Gunther Schnorr. As you'll see, athletic director for Jamesville-DeWitt, John Goodson, put in the comments. The girls basketball today at 4 p.m. at CBA. That's streaming on the NFHS network. And Momo LeClaire, in her 5th year, varsity basketball for Jamesville-DeWitt, looking to score her 1,000th point.
That's going to be really, really exciting. Momo LeClaire, one of the best players in the history of this extremely storied JD girls basketball program, one of the best in New York State. In fact, Jamesville-DeWitt High School in 2020, the #2 girls athletics program in New York State. Something we're very proud of here, as Cerrone once again displaying that generalship. He's going to settle very comfortably into that point guard slot this year. Clock.
Great move by Marshall to get open there. Just couldn't convert the floater.
Time. Timeout taken on the court, and hopefully we'll be able to get some video footage of Momo LeClaire's 1,000th point, because let's take a quick look at what we're going to be bringing you next. Join us on Monday, starting at 5 p.m. as the Red Rams take on the West Genesee Wildcats, first in JV girls basketball, and then the varsity contest at 7 p.m. Should be fun. There's only going to be a couple of girls' home games this season just because of how the schedule worked out, so you're not going to want to miss this one. And hopefully we'll get that second camera consistent by then, too.
Yep, and hopefully we'll have footage of Momo LeClaire's 1,000th point in her career. She'll be extending her career next year. She's committed to Drexel University, where she'll be playing Division I basketball.
And she absolutely deserves it. She is a court general as well, and her three-point shot is just one of the best I've ever seen.
And a part of 2 state championship winning teams on JD, including a Federation Cup championship earlier in her career.
Last year was really something of an off year for the JD girls program. Just like the boys team, losing in the sectional finals after going to three straight state championships, hoping to get back on the winning track this year. But of course, that'll be in the future. This is now. And the Red Rams are all tied up with the brothers at 51 apiece with 3 minutes remaining. Come on, overtime. Mike Schaefer tries to hit Williams, wrestled away by Brian King, who feeds it to Withers.
And again, Gunther Schnorr getting in on that defense. First one to tip the ball there.
Now it's Schnorr controlling. To Withers. To Shumpert, who's been suspiciously quiet in the second half. Makes a little bit of noise there with another 2. He's up to 22 points.
Had a little bit of a Euro step there. Great finish. Maybe could have even had a call there, but great finish.
Well, you know, if you're a referee, you know, at some point, you don't call that just because you know that Shumpert's getting so many points at this point. You almost don't want to rub it in as JD is up 53-51, or maybe they want overtime too.
And they haven't been calling this game too closely anyways, so little contact like that, they won't call that either way. They've been calling it very fair.
Anderson powers through Schnorr, and he has 16 points. His best of the season is 22, but he had 32 last year. Shumpert with a little touch. 24 points, and we have officially run out of room on the score sheet. Minute and a half remaining in this game. JD up 55-53. With about the amount of time remaining, we could see a repeat of the exact score from last year's championship game.
Very possible.
Schaefer with the jumper. And that foul's going CBA's way. It is called on Schnorr. That's the downside of playing such aggressive defense. This one's coming down to the wire. Three shots the referee is motioning. And he makes his first. That is only the second free throw he has made this season. That's 2 in a row. You know, Schaefer also plays baseball. He's batting .350, but here's the interesting thing. He pitched 14 innings, 19 strikeouts, but 15 walks. So something of a power reliever, I have to imagine, as he is 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. And a timeout is called, wisely so, as CBA retakes this 1-point lead. 56-55 is a 30-second taken by CBA.
30-second taken by CBA. Oh, are you talking about this? Yeah, this is what it's been given. I don't know. Just got to keep activating, deactivating until it does something.
So with a minute 10 left in at least regulation, what are your takeaways from this game so far? What are you seeing?
I think as we've looked at these past few minutes, CBA's done a great job of penetrating and drawing fouls, as we saw in that last possession. So they want to keep JD on their toes defensively. And as far as JD, they were hitting their shots early in their game, and they haven't been finishing now. Preston finished that one shot earlier, but other than that, they're not hitting their shots. So JD needs to convert.
JD has been a little bit streaky throughout this game, which is not a precedent you want to set for the rest of the season.
A little bit of a double team there.
Now it's Schnorr, given to Withers, round the horn to Cerrone. Thinking about a three-pointer, decides to take it. It's just a little bit short. Toss-up eventually brought down by Schaefer. Handed off to Anderson, who's going to kill some time because he's got a 1-point lead and he knows it. JD needs to get the ball back right now and score.
They need, and and CBA can run the clock down to about 17 seconds, so they're going to want to really work the clock out here.
They're going to be playing monkey in the middle for the next 13 seconds. Cerrone doesn't want to challenge Anderson and give him a chance to run that score up further, as he does not. 22 seconds on the clock. Withers gets the ball. He crosses half court. It's crunch time, and a timeout is taken by Jamesville-DeWitt, perhaps wisely.
And now Coach Ike, as all coaches want to, at the end of the game, he has a chance to drop whatever play he wants, and he really has all the freedom in the world here. Let's see what he puts out there.
He is furiously scribbling on the whiteboard right now. Does the camera zoom get that close? Can we get the whiteboard, you think?
I think what you're going to see here is you're going to see them try to either get it to Preston. Oh, you can see the board a little bit. They're going to try to get it to Preston inside, or they're going to try to get Marshall Withers a shot outside. He has that beautiful shot, so they're going to utilize that or Preston's size. We'll see which one they go with.
Only one way to find out, and the thing about a 1-point lead is that unless we get a free throw, chances are it's not going to overtime, unfortunately, because this game's been great. But it means that whether you win or lose, whoever loses, it's the most painful way to go.
It's definitely going to be a heartbreaker for whoever comes out on the bottom here.
James Cerrone will be the one to inbound it for the Red Rams. Cerrone hadn't put up too many points today, but he really has been instrumental. Now Schumpert has the ball with 15 seconds. He just needs a 2. He doesn't even need a 3. Nearly lost. Withers now beyond the arc, 8 seconds. Tries to force his way in. Shot is blocked. Wrestled away by King. There is contact called against CBA. That could be the game decider.
That was a great offensive rebound by Brian King from Jamesville-DeWitt there. Great offensive rebound.
Brian King may have just saved the day for Jamesville-DeWitt. And another timeout is taken. A full timeout, this time taken by JD. And once again, Coach Leklinski not happy about that call of the contact.
It's always a tough decision for the referees to make, especially at the end of games. You don't want to be the one deciding the outcome here, but it did look like there was some contact there, and they decided it was enough for them to call it.
4.8 seconds on the official clock, 4.2 on ours. We get as close as we possibly can. 56-55, JD down by 1. It all comes down to this.
You've heard my prediction. I think they go to Preston inside or Marshall outside. We've got someone in the comments saying that they're going to give it to Cerrone here for a pick and roll. It really could be anything.
Of course, Jeff Ike, a creative playmaker, 88-28 in his 6 years with JD. He knows how to win. He's hoping to pick up another here.
Refs reminding players to keep their hands off each other before the whistle is blown.
Good rule during COVID, too. Cerrone sends it to Withers from the wing. It's not enough. Can it get off in time? No!
Wow!
Marshall Withers just left of the basket. And the CBA brothers will take it 56-55. It comes down to the final 4 seconds. Withers given 2 opportunities to shoot, and both times he just barely misses the target.
Withers had a great look from 3 off the bat. You know, he was fading away a little bit, but it was a good take. James Cerrone, offensive rebound, very clutch play. Gave it back to Withers, just couldn't convert there. You get a really good shooter, 2 good looks there. I don't think you can be disappointed with the opportunities you took there as JD.
No, he did about as best as he could, but sometimes you try your best and you just don't succeed. As JD walking out of the gym, absolutely disappointed, and no one can blame them. The CBA brothers improved to 5-0 on the season. The Red Rams 0-1 to start things off.
And who would have expected that after a 15-1 start by the Red Rams?
Yeah, not something we expected to see. The Red Rams started this game 15-1 and just could not keep up that momentum. The CBA defense solidified and Dan Anderson got into his rhythm. Anderson eventually putting up 16 points. Shumpert put up 24, a new career high, trying to keep the Red Rams in this one. And, of course, Marshall Withers with 14 on the day as well. So the Red Rams, a valiant effort, but just not enough against the brothers. But it does say, hey, this should be a promising season.
Should be a promising season, and they're very evenly matched with CBA, just like last year. So if CBA can be 5-0, they can have just as good of a record as they work forward into the season.
And so the Red Rams will look on the bright side, look for the silver lining within this cloud of a 1-point defeat. And we thank you very much for joining us here live on YouTube. My name is Sam Gelfand on behalf of my broadcast partner Tyler Aitken and all of us here at JD TV. Thank you so very much for joining us for the inaugural basketball contest of the 2021 season. Have a very good rest of your day, wherever you may be.